The talk of the town. Hot topics. Local talk. Part of your balanced breakfast. Mornings on 100.7 FM. WUTQ.
Mark, we have a question and comments for you. Gary is on line one, and I believe Gary wants to talk about the throughway situation that you brought up.
Gary, welcome to Talk of the Town. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm doing fine. It's good to hear you guys.
Great. Where are you calling? Where are you calling from, Gary?
I'm in Clinton.
Okay, very good. And
Okay.
the comments were about Mark's idea that perhaps we abolish the tolls on the New York State Thruway there. And we were talking with Senator Joe Griffo about that.
Yep. And I couldn't agree with him more. I think the fine, I'll use the word fine, not fee. The fine that we have to pay to travel a public highway is ludicrous. But I understand that stretch of road does require maintenance, just like every other stretch of road in New York State, where county or town or municipal tax dollars are used for that purpose. But I thought, I was just down in New Jersey this past week, and in New Jersey, the gas tax, the federal excise, state excise tax on fuel is about 14 or 15 cents. New York State, it's 46 cents a gallon. And I wonder why we couldn't take a penny or two out of that 46-cent pot and allocate it expressly for what is known as the New York Thruway Authority, which are those roads that were mentioned earlier, not just the traditional thruway itself, but the northern and southern routes that fall under that guise. And that, I think, would be, at the end of a year of collecting that, wouldn't cost drivers anymore. That money could be specifically allocated as a collected gas tax that we already have for that purpose, and keep the maintenance on that road just like everybody else keeps maintenance on their roads.
Obviously I couldn't agree with you more, and I appreciate the call. I can't be persuaded when someone says we need the money to maintain the thruway when they maintain Route 81 from Albany to Montreal. The part that's in New York State, that highway is maintained just as well as the thruway. If you've ever driven on that road, you'll see no difference between that and the thruway, except you're not paying the fine, as you call it. And not only that, if you break down on the thruway, you have to use their people, which inflates the cost of what you have to pay to someone to help you with the car. It would be the biggest public relations coup that this state could ever have in terms of making it business friendly. We keep talking about wanting to attract people here, making New York State user friendly and business friendly, and yet we have that fine. I like your word better than a fee.
Yeah,
you have that fine for
it's
just using a road.
Fine.
You don't find that throughout the country. That's an anachronism. So I appreciate your call, and I agree with you.
All right, Gary, thanks for calling in.
Yeah, it's our Gary, and I don't know if do you mind the full disclosure, Gary?
Oh, not the full display. I give the full disclosure.
Gary Calaruso, and you are a Oneida County legend out of Kirkland, and you always have.
No, I'm not an Oneida County legislator. I haven't achieved that level of stardom yet. I'm I'm the town councilman.
Town councilman. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
And you always have great insight, and we always appreciate you giving us a call.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity. I do have a question for Mark, though, unrelated. If you still have the time.
Go ahead.
Sure.
Okay. Just the other day, I opened my mail, and to my surprise, I got a letter from my insurance carrier saying that my identity had been hacked through their service. I'll leave the name of the carrier out, not to cause any harm to anybody else, but they assured me that this would never happen again. I would have thought that they could have assured me that it wouldn't have happened the first time, and I wondered, as the recipient of this letter, other than some of the suggestions that the letters said to call a number and get involved in their program to try and curb this, what would you suggest? I'm asking Mark, what would you suggest an individual do to try and help, knowing now that your identity has been jeopardized? What would you suggest that you could do to help stave off any further disaster from that incident?
Well, to begin with, there is nothing you can do, and there is nothing that insurance carrier can do to prevent hacking in the future. For them to say that this is not going to happen in the future is not accurate. There's nothing you can do to prevent it. The only thing you can do, having been a victim, is to carefully monitor all of your statements on your credit cards, any of your accounts. Watch very carefully, and I would periodically get a free copy of your credit report to see if anything has gone on there that isn't yours and get it off immediately. The only thing you can really do is monitor whatever may happen, and if something happens, jump on it right away. I don't normally share my personal things, but I have a debit card, and all of a sudden I got some charges from Staples in Massachusetts on the credit on the debit card, and I don't always pay that close attention to the statements. I do now, but I didn't before. I'd look at it, looked kind of okay, I'd put it aside. So you got to monitor those things very carefully, and that's the best thing you can do to protect yourself is monitor.
Gary, thanks for calling in. Appreciate listening.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right.
Thanks,
It's Gary Colarusso, councilman from Kirkland. So the Stars listening to the show here on the Talk of the Town.